Well, now, kind of looks like the Democrats, I don't know, there may be some Republicans. Anyway, they're all intent on passing a massive spending bill cobbled together in a dark, smoke-filled back room. Question is, can Republicans stop it? Joining us now to talk about it, South Dakota Senator John Thune, Senate Republican Whip, member of the Finance Committee. Senator Thune, I just want to know, are you going to be in that dark, smoke-filled room with this terrible omnibus deal that is going to be crazy, wild, lame duck spending, or can you stop it, sir?
Well, I'm not in the room, at least not in the dark, smoke-filled room anyway, Larry. But I'm hopeful that we can stop a lot of this extraneous, non-defense related spending. I mean, there are things we need to do for the military. We all know that. But the Democrats always want you to pay a ransom. Mm-hmm. You want to get a little bit more in military spending, then you got to give us a whole bunch more domestic spending. The problem is they've got $4.5 trillion in these last 2 years since Biden took office in spending outside of the regular appropriation process. They should have funded their entire agenda. There is no reason why we ought to have to give them additional increases, plus-ups in non-defense related spending in order to get an increase that we need in our military.
Well, so, you know, they're going to scratch every liberal left-wing itch. There's no question about that. We know that. I guess my first question to you, Senator Thune, is wouldn't it be better to go with a CR, continuing resolution, and wait until next year to give a full-fledged 2023 budget, regular order, appropriation hearings, which you haven't had in the Senate? You know, liberals and conservatives can argue about levels of spending and the merits of these programs. They had one in the House, but not in the Senate. Wouldn't it be better to go with a CR and then a full-fledged regular order budget exercise next year?
And that could happen, and we would be much better off with the Republican House, for sure, writing a budget. The question is, when would they be able to get to it? You know, we're into 2023. The fiscal year started October 1. But here's the thing: the challenge we have, and this is why I am a passionate advocate of budget reform. Mm-hmm. We don't do appropriations bills.
Right.
I mean, this is the Democrats use this to their advantage. They back us up to Christmas, and then it's either, okay, you vote for this increase in domestic spending, or we shut the government down. And that is the problem that we have, is the 12 appropriation bills, none of which was acted upon earlier this year, now gets all balled up. We're heading into the Christmas holiday, and the Democrats try to use that as leverage to get a huge plus up in spending. And that's where, again, how this gets resolved remains to be seen, but there is, to your point, some logic certainly in, you know, doing a continuing resolution funded at last year's level, and then having this litigated next year with a Republican House. The question, I think, is, will the Democrats, you know, are they desperate enough to get a deal this year that they are willing to keep from dramatically increasing the domestic spending in exchange for getting some additional defense spending, which Republicans in the Senate desperately want to see happen?
Well, look, I don't know. I've gone both ways on this, Senator Thune, but, you know, if I had to close the government down for a couple weeks in order to get real reforms or cuts, God forbid, cuts in domestic spending, if I had to wait a couple weeks to pay the interest on 10-year bonds, because we all know it's going to get paid, I think I would. All right? I'm a desperate man for budgetary restraint and inflation restraint, because the two go together, as you well know. I mean, why not call their bluff? Take them to the edge.
And it's very I mean, I think that anything right now is on the table. I don't know how this is going to play out. A lot of it's going to depend on how willing the Democrats are, like I said before, if they want to get a deal, to not, you know, blow it up with all kinds of new non-defense related spending. And, you know, to your point, I think this all impacts, if you look at inflation, just the massive flood of spending in the last couple of years there's no doubt, no question that has contributed to and been largely responsible for the run-up that we've seen in inflation. This has implications, you know, well beyond this year. We're at $30 trillion in debt, 122% of GDP. We desperately need spending reforms. We need budget reforms for this country, and we're going to have to deal with those issues because the day of reckoning is coming. And, you know, the sooner we deal with that, the better. I'm hopeful that next year when we get Republican control of the House, we'll be in a better position at least to use that leverage to try and get some of these things that we need to get done. But at the end of the day, we have to have an orderly process that allows this work to get done earlier in the year. We can't get up against the Christmas holiday and just then have them say, you know, take this or leave it, or we're going to shut the government down.
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't know that you need budget reforms. I think you just need to use the budget rules that are there and are never used. I mean, I call it regular order. I mean, we've had this conversation with Kevin Cramer and other senators. That's all. We don't use it anymore. We don't have a budget resolution from the Senate. We don't have the 12 appropriation subcommittee hearings in the Senate. We don't have any of that stuff. The public doesn't know. And I'm sorry you can't make the dark-filled, smoke-filled room, but that's not a good way to do it. I mean, I think you would agree with me. That's not a good way to do it. There's no taxpayer transparency there. Nobody knows. You know, it's a coin of phrase. Nobody's going to know what's in that bill until we actually write it. And even then, you don't know what's in that bill. Last word.
Well, so here's my point to you is the problem with the current budget law and with the appropriations process for that matter too, is there's no consequence in not doing it. And that's why we've got to reform the budget process so that there is actually some cost associated. You miss the deadlines, you blow by the deadlines, we don't do a budget resolution, we never do budget resolutions, then we don't do appropriation bills, and then here we are at the end of the year with the Democrats holding the good cards because they use the year end as leverage. This is the way Schumer and the Democrats and Pelosi in the House like to run things because it puts you in a crisis mode, and the only way we're going to fix that is to start dealing with these issues in the front end earlier in the year. And I think in order to do that, you've got to have some enforcement mechanisms in there, and they just don't exist today.
Sequestration. Look, when I was a child during the Reagan years, we had Graham-Rudman haulings, and we had budget caps, and you violated sequestration across the board, and it worked. It worked. It actually turned the current services baseline down. I'm running out of time, but I think it's got to be something around that. I don't know. Anyway, that would be my proposal.
There is, and that is, you're right. I mean, but you have to have something
across the board
that constrains spending.
Across the board cuts.
And that worked then, and it worked in 2011 with the Budget Control Act for a couple of years. So you got to put something. There's got to be a consequence, Larry.
Mean, nasty, and brutish budget cuts. Mean, nasty, and brutish. Senator John Thune, thank you, sir, as always.
Thanks.